You're listening to the podcast that changed the game and rocked an entire profession. Talking about shit in law enforcement that keeps poor leaders up at night. When others run scared and hide behind fake policies, the Roll Call Room podcast tells it like it is. No bullshit. No matter how hard these thieves try, we keep killing it. And now, here are your hosts, Nick and Mike.
Mm-hmm. AKA. I used to really like I used to like Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel when they did the Man Show, because it was kind of like the worst misogynistic show ever, but man, it was a lot of fun. And it was funny. You never watched? Oh my God, I love it. I still got the t-shirt. I need to dig that out and hang it up here in the studio. But yeah, go ahead, sir. Oh, yes. And with Rodney Dangerfield on?
Yeah, I mean, so many people came up. John just had he responded when people asked him about politics. Johnny said, you have to be really, really careful because 50% of your audience is Democrats and 50% of them are Republicans, in theory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you swing the pendulum so far to one side, you lose 50% of your audience. And in a competitive market, that 50% is a lot. And people, listen with their money. That's the other thing. You're losing 50%, and out of that 50% that you now have, how many are tuning in at 11:30 at night? I'd venture to say less than 10%, right? So, and then out of that 10%, now you're competing with other late night shows, which now you're probably in the 1.5% to 2% range. I love late night stuff like I used to. I used to watch Saturday Night Live religiously. When it was funny, when it was sketch comedy that wasn't like 99.9% political. I want to watch those shows to escape, what's going on and all that stuff. And I think Charlie Kirk, really what happened there, we haven't had a show since then. I've talked a lot.
I'm still angry, by the way.
Yeah. And I think what people don't understand is you and I have different religious beliefs, like you and I, and that's what makes us amazing together is that we don't always have everything in common. Like there are parts of Charlie's speech that I didn't agree with. There's parts of his stuff that I totally agreed with.
Yes, me too.
I was very much in the middle, but he was one of the smartest young men I have ever seen, and did some absolutely amazing things in the sense of bringing people together that disagree into a debate that you may not like that you lost the debate. I don't think I've ever seen anybody stump him.
Right.
But the manner in which that happened, the murder that happened was, I remember texting you.
Oh yeah.
And
I was teaching. That was horrible. I was teaching stops and approaches, and we were out on the range, and I got a text from you. I looked down, and you said Charlie Kirk's been shot, and I'm like, what the fuck? So we took a quick break, and I immediately got, on the apps to see what the hell was going on. And I was just stunned.
Yeah, and we were out to dinner, me and my family, or we were at Universal, I think. I can't remember. But when I saw the video, and once I confirmed that it wasn't AI,
Yeah.
I didn't have to wait for them to say anything. And
so tragic.
It's sad. I don't want to do a comparison because what you and I went through is nothing compared to what Charlie's family is going through and went through.
Right.
But I think the reason why, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think the reason why watching what happened to Trump getting indicted and being put in front of kangaroo court like he did, and what happened with Charlie Kirk and some other things, I think it resonates with us because in some form or fashion that happened to you and I. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing worse than having an establishment come down on top of you in such a raw and dangerous and vindictive way. And I think we've talked about this on the show, or we've talked off the air, which is when people, or I see in a comment in our social media or something, which is like, what happened, you guys, for so long ago, get over it.
That's my fave. Why don't you just get over it? Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, it's like, unless you've been through it, you don't understand what that word "get over it" means. Like, I don't even know what you mean by "get over it." What does "get over it" mean? Which is forget about it? Because I don't think that's ever going to happen. Like, there's a blip. Some people call COVID the blip. That was our blip in our life, which was, that's all I lived and breathed for 24/7.
Right. And what we were willing to sacrifice.
Yeah, and how I was going to earn a living. Like, what am I going to do for money? How am I going to survive? How am I going to pay my mortgage? How am I going to pay my car payments? I built this lifestyle, and I'm sure you were the same. I built my lifestyle far beyond the means of my income, which, if anybody knows anything about police psychology, we all do it. And if you're in a cruiser right now listening to this, you're probably sitting there going, "Yeah, yep, I got a Chevy Silverado, all the trimmings, and I
lift
financed
kit
it for $62,000."
Well, that's low. It's more like 80.
Yeah,
my $1,400 a month payment, and that's probably low.
That's probably low. And I got a 6% plus interest rate on it, and you're probably making in the range of, depending on small department, large department, you're making anywhere from $35,000 to $80,000, let's say. And your take home, by the time you slice your living expenses and electric and cable and cell phone, you are in the negative, and you are trying to figure out what movie theater is playing, and what movie theater is hiring for extra security or traffic details, or something where you're going to have to come back to work and not have a full restful day off.
Right.
And you and I are shaking our head because I know you did it, and I know I did.
Oh yes. And was happy to do it. I love my job so much that it wasn't a burden to go. And I used to say, this is a lifestyle, not a job, which in a way it's true. Right. But I didn't. Exactly. And I was gargling it and bathing in it. But I loved doing what I was doing. Every minute I could spend in uniform, it was, it was a pleasure to do the job, because I still say being a cop's one of the best fucking professions ever. And you get to do the funnest stuff, and you meet the most wonderful people on the positive side. Now you get the bad side too, but in reflection, you still give them a little bit of love and respect in the end because they all taught you something.
Yeah.
But working those extra hours, and I believed at the time, I deserve this new Ford Explorer Sport because I work a lot of overtime and I need to enjoy my money, and I deserve this new camper because I need time to relax. But the lie you tell yourself is that
you never use it.
Take time. Yeah, that's right. The camper's going to sit there, and you're just going to drive the Explorer back and forth to work, and it's going to sit in the parking lot there, and it's going to sit in the driveway at home. You're not going to enjoy it because you're working all the fucking time. The car you drive every day says police down the side, and you share it with hopefully you have a take-home car, and thank God if you do. But if you're like Nick and I, and you're sliding seats with some son of a bitch that doesn't cover his mouth when he sneezes, and you got to go in and wipe the boogers off the side of the seat, that's the car you spend your time in. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to derail.
Yeah. The cruiser I ever shared with somebody was like the Wunan lab in China. It's like,
and it's like, goddamn, dude, what did you eat yesterday? You need to go to the doctor. Those noxious fumes you were blowing into the cushion all night is kind of, I'm in here dry heaving.
On the console.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking empty Gatorade bottles and the fucking passenger's floorboard. Like,
did you ever share a car with the spitter?
Oh yeah.
With someone who chews and they got the spit bottle. Yeah, I didn't get the lid on tight and it fell. You got, yeah, just nasty. And, that's the car you're spending your time in.
Yeah, and I just recently went back up to DC, Virginia area this past week.
How'd that go?
Bro.
Overwhelming?
So I flew up there. Went up there to get some of my dad's belongings and my dad, like his urn.
Oh yeah. Well, for those who didn't know, for those of us who don't know, Nick's father passed, and we're sorry for that.
Yeah, it was rough. Yeah, and so the drive down was like 15 hours. With stops and everything. Shout out to Buc-ee's.
Gotta love Buc-ee's. They need to pay us for this, but thank you, Buc-ee's.
No, we need a Buc-ee's sponsorship.
We do.
I was thinking about this show. I knew we were doing this show. Like, I needed a day to recover after that long trip. So that was Thursday. Needed all day yesterday to recover and catch up on work. And then Saturday, which is today, we always decide to do first thing in the morning, which we're absolutely crazy for doing, but we're the freshest in the morning.
Absolutely.
And so, I was thinking about the job, and it's always weird, Mark, the littlest things that you think about from the job, like the littlest things that you miss.
Yeah.
And so I'm driving down. You're going to laugh at this, and you may agree. And you might be like, yeah. I miss picking up my uniforms from the dry cleaners and the proudness that I felt.
Hell yeah.
People were in line, and they would put my uniforms up on that, that standby peg.
Right. Would you go in on duty, or would you go in and undressed and civvies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Undressed. And then taking it into the locker room and taking that plastic off and then, we love you customer paper that is been used since 1645. And the twisty tie that they twist all of your shit together, and that twisty tie is holding on for fucking dear life. And you let it go,
now,
and you look at
would
it.
Go ahead. Finish your thought. My ADHD is kicking in.
I think you're going to say, did you use starch?
No. I was going to say, did your dry cleaner do shirt, pants, or was it all shirts and then all pants?
Yes.
So did they actually put them together for you? So like this is day one, day two, so
it wouldn't matter because I knew certain shirts that I wanted to wear with certain pants because the shirts and the pants were faded together. It was really weird. So my department, I'm so surprised that they have not been canceled for this, and they're such a liberal city, Alexandria City. The shirt top is Confederate gray.
Yeah.
It is mirrored after the Confederate Army.
Isn't it amazing how many police agencies are gray now? My first agency went to gray.
It's so wild that a liberal city, which removed statues of Confederate soldiers, has their police officers running around with Confederate gray shirts, and they don't even fucking know it.
But wasn't there a study out a while ago where the gray is more soothing and doesn't appear to be? They come with some fucking bullshit survey about getting away from the LAPD dark blue because it's too authoritative, and the gray is a little more, it's like a gray teddy bear, and it makes people not. It's like it's horseshit.
If I had ever had the, and I don't say ever see it happening. If I ever had the opportunity to be a police chief, I think I would change the uniform to polo shirts and cream-colored BDUs.
Cream colored,
or what are the khaki colored BDUs?
Oh yeah. I was gonna say cream color to me is white. Why would you have white pants on?
No.
You never trust a fart in those.
Yeah, it would be khaki and polos, because those are the most soothing and disarming.
Right. But you and I will vehemently disagree on this topic. I fucking hate polos, and I hate khaki pants in police work. But that's just me. I'm a traditionalist. To me, if you're going to be the police, be the fucking police. Be in the dark uniform, drive a black and white car, so everyone knows who the fuck you are. There's no, who's this guy getting out? And when I was on council, our police chief at the time there at the village, and they wanted to do that, but nowhere on the shirt did it say police. It's like, who the fuck are you? You look like Billy the golf caddy out here. It's like, you're comfortable. And I get it.
Police on the sleeves.
Yeah. I think they had one patch on one shoulder and an American flag on the other, and it looked awkward with a patch sewn to a polo shirt. It's like, But my thing is even when I was working, my guys, I was the last to go to the outer carrier. I was a very traditionalist. But the reason why I switched to the outer carrier came during the summer. I could throw that, because I would literally, when I go back to my office and do reports, I had a hook on the end of my credenza. I'd hang the belt, I'd take the shirt off, I'd take the vest off, turn that fucker inside out, put a fan on it. Oh yeah, I'd strip down, because in the summertime,
when we went to outer carry vests, I would take my outer carry vest off when I was doing reports.
Correct. And that's why I switched.
Yeah, as far as shirt and everything, no. Once that was on, because again, honor guard. My gig line was straight, and I must have spent 15, 20 minutes in the locker room making sure everything was pristine before out of carries. When out of carries came, then it really didn't fucking matter, because the out of carries were kind of interesting, because if you didn't have it tailored the right way, the out of carries, they would stop just above your belly button. And I always remembered when our body armor people came for fittings, I would make them put an extra 3 inches down, so that standing up, the outer carry went below my belly button and rubbed on my belt. And when I sat down, it went below my belt.
Went out and over.
Like protected my groin area. I remember that, and I remember then fixing the side area, which is typically where, some of the police officers have been hit on the side, because it's not really much protection back there. But the new outer carries have the flap with Kevlar on it. It's just under the armpit is always exposed. This area right in here is exposed.
So for stops and approaches, if you remember the line of duty death of Trooper Mark Coates, that's how he was shot and killed. Reached over to call out, and the bullet went under his armpit. So that is a vital area. Sorry, squirrel moment.
No, I mean, listen, I don't want to. I don't want to spend too much time on the Charlie Kirk thing. Although, like,
but I do want to circle back to Johnny Carson.
yeah,
And comedians as well, because we do comedy on this show. We're not here to turn anybody away or turn anybody off, and that's why we really strive. And I think listen to the show, you'll figure out real quick we're both conservatives, but I think Jimmy Kimmel really shot himself in the foot because he felt like he had to push an agenda. And Johnny Carson said, you'll never see other comedians take on tough topics because you're there to relieve. The relief is, I don't want to think about this shit. I want to just clear my mind and laugh. And I think that's part of our job as a roll call room is say, hey, you're not alone. We're all going through this shit, and let's all go through this shit together. And we're going to give you some resources. Hit the cough button, give you some resources on how to navigate into living your career, which where you're at right now. And we got a really great letter, an email that really touched my soul today. And I have to apologize. I didn't read it till today, but I know you read it as soon as it came in. I've been busy. So when I'm doing this big class, it's all I can do just to keep up with emails. So the less prioritized ones, I read it this morning from I think they work midnights, right? Mm-hmm. And they were just thanking us about, their departments trying to unionize, and they're getting the dry fist fuck from management because, this isn't retaliation. It's time for a change. No, it's them fucking with you.
Yeah.
But, but remember, everyone goes through it. And even this shirt today is kind of an ode to my cousin, who got the dry fist fuck as well from his agency. So shout out to Chris. Hello. But keep your head up, keep moving. It's hard to hit a moving target. And if you get to the point to where God presents you an opportunity, Turk, I'm talking to you, take it because it may not make sense now, but it will in the future. And, Nick and I hear these stories where this guy's like, and I'm just, the story is repeated so often. There's no one specific I'm talking about. And Nick and I will talk about, because we talk every day. We're like a couple of old women. But, and Nick said the other day, that guy's a dead man walking. I said, yes, they are. They just don't know it yet. So for God's sakes, if you have the opportunity to leave with honor and go to another department, do it. Because let me tell you something, the department you're at right now is going to do everything they can to throw mud on you, to discredit you, to make you unhireable somewhere else, which is exactly what our departments did to us. And I was talking to one of my officers who now has another thriving career. He and I were talking last night, and my former agency slipped the pinky up his butthole too. And he ended up getting charged. So his probation's coming up really soon, is going to expire. And as soon as that's done, I would love to have him on the roll call room to share with the world how bad things went and how sideways overnight everything went. And it was a tragedy. Because at the time I wasn't speaking with him because I felt as if he was a Kool-Aid drinker. And then I learned what happened. I was in Florida. We were down there for our 6-month and 1-day stay. And I called him. I said, bro, you're walking into the helicopter blades and you don't know it. Please, please, please call me back. Red alert, red alert, So he called me, and about an hour after that, him and I talked for 3 hours. And I said, yeah, you got to don't walk, run. Here's a good attorney to get a hold of, because you've been sucked up by the machine and they're about ready to chew you up and spit you out. But I know we just went over a whole bunch of stuff, but life is better. And I can tell you right now, again, 4 F's, like we talk about: faith, family, friends, favorite activity. Keep that faith going. Because if you're not, get back to it, whatever it is, whatever your higher power is, because that's what's going to lead you through. And I can personally say I didn't want to leave law enforcement when I left. I was shoved out. And I had to sit back, take a long, hard look in the mirror, check my fucking ego, and say, okay, let's start strategizing. Let's start playing chess. Put the checkerboard away. And then it got to be 4-level chess. And what's best for me, what's best for my family moving forward, because this job is done. I didn't like it. I didn't want to. I think, Nick, you were the same way, that you had to sit back and say, okay, what's next? And I can tell you right now, if you got this trauma going on, get into therapy, find a therapist that works for you. Nick and I'm going to get a little vulnerable, which is very, very rare for me. So thank you all for listening and watching. I endured a death within the last month. It was my nephew. It was very, very tragic for our family. Nick and I both went through deaths at the same time. So we were kind of, struggle buddies there together. But how we are, I felt bad. Okay, it's bad you had a death. What's even worse is not having reaction, not feeling as bad as others were in the room, not crying as others, not feeling that, and Nick called me. He's like, dude, what is wrong with me? And I said, brother, there's nothing wrong with you. This is how you are. This is how we are now. This is what law enforcement, I don't want to say has done, but because we've endured so many traumas, death, whatever, this is how you are now. You've learned to compartmentalize your psyche, and you're not crying like that. You just don't do it. I mean, I did on the way home. I mean, my nephew passed. Well, the last time I saw him, I hugged him and I kissed him and I said, brother, I love you. I'm sorry. We did last rites, and my wife and I, we left the hospital. They were in Columbus. It's about an hour drive back to our house. And I cried all the way home. And Susan's like, you okay? And I said, no, this is the last time we're going to see him. He will not make it through the night. And he didn't. He passed at 3 a.m. But I knew that when I left, because you feel the energy in the room. And if you're around death enough, you feel that. And you had a very similar experience. And as we were talking, it's just how we are now. I remember the first time I realized something's horribly wrong is we did a active duty death in honor guard, and they did last call. Did your honor guard do last call? Where we have a selected dispatcher that could keep it together and do it. Everyone was just sobbing uncontrollably, and I felt nothing. I was dead inside. I'm like, why am I not crying? What's wrong? But that was my first look into me, that I should probably start getting help as far as, mental health awareness, blah, blah, blah. But almost 5 years outside the job, still going to therapy and all that, having gone through this personal tragedy, because, my nephew was only 39 when he passed, wasn't self-inflicted. Being in the room and being around the people like that, I was not, I was just kind of like, not unaffected. Does that make sense? Yeah. But I wasn't at that level of sadness and as everyone else was. So it's kind of like, for all the other first responders that are listening, that if that happens to you and you're not reacting that way, this is how you are now.
Yeah. And when my dad passed, I was lucky enough to get a flight. Like, the story of that is just, I got a call from my brother saying, hey, he's on a ventilator. And man, I got off the phone and I booked the first flight that I can get out of Florida. And, we had gone maybe a week, 2 weeks with like no heavy rain or thunderstorms in Florida, and during hurricane season, that's kind of rare.
Oh yeah.
And the night I got to the airport, thunderstorms. Flight's supposed to leave at, I think, 6. Delayed, canceled. Get another flight at 10 p.m. Delayed, canceled. Book another flight 12 a.m. I mean, I'm to the point now, I'm looking for rental cars like Do I make this 13-hour drive? Delayed, canceled. And then the whole board turns to cancel. And so
Oh my.
take an Uber all the way back home, get home, book another flight with a different different airline. I get out 6 a.m. I get all the way there, straight from the airport, take an Uber, get there, and I saw my dad like on a ventilator, and they told us, they said, hey, listen, he signed a bunch of paperwork before he wasn't able to communicate, and here's the paperwork. We like look at it, and my dad puts on there no life-saving measures, and that was news to us. Like I didn't know that.
Wow.
So they took us into this like private, it's supposed to be like, where did they touch you room, with couches and flowers and shit like that. And I mean, that's what I thought.
This
when
is
I
why
rolled
we're
into
friends,
the
because you
room.
slip
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah, like I walk in the room.
Oh
And I
my
was
God.
like, oof! I'm finally gonna get to tell my priest stories. I'll hold that on for another 40 years. But anyway, they talked to us, and I was pretty disappointed in myself, and that's why I reached out to you, probably later in the day, or maybe the next day
Right.
we passed, because my reaction was very matter of fact. It was me, my brother, my sister-in-law, who's a nurse, she's phenomenal, and my mom. And I remember starting the conversation out with the doctor and saying, there's nothing here to debate. There's nothing here to discuss. I don't know why we're in this room. Like,
Right.
Who do you need to get to go into that room and disconnect it? Or do you need me to go in there and just unplug it?
Oh,
and
wow.
I remember kind of being disappointed in
And
myself. Like, I was like, it's kind of, I was like, man, my brother and my sister-in-law and my mom must think I'm just this cold-hearted prick, like. And
so now the self-loathing starts.
yeah, because I was like,
Mhm.
I'm making a life-ending decision, and I did it quicker than it would take me to order,
Damn, bro.
at McDonald's. I mean, it was that quick. It was, what are we doing here? Like, why are we wasting time? I just felt like if that was his wishes, every second that he was, still connected to that machine, I was, or we were not honoring his wishes. And
Right.
that bothered me. It bothered me a lot. And I think that's the discipline in me, the paramilitary in me, which is, follow orders. And the orders
Right.
were that's what his orders were. But
Yeah, it's get it on. Let's do it.
yeah, and then, like they took him off, and, I had never done anything like that before. So I was anticipating, as soon as the respirator, was shut off, that we were going to stand there and, say goodbye. And that didn't happen.
Right.
We stood there. We waited. And then finally a nurse came in and was like, listen, you guys can stay, but this could go on for a really long time. And
Yeah. He was
like,
still breathing on his own.
Yeah, we were not much, but yeah, So we left, and I think same as your cousin, I think he passed around 3 or 4 in the morning. My sister-in-law
Right.
called me, and again, didn't shed a tear, man. I went into, okay, now let's find a funeral home. Let me help my mom find a funeral home. What are we going to do? Like, I knew cremation was his wish. So, how do we go about that? How do you pick a funeral home? These are things, folks, unless you've ever had a family member pass on you, they suck. Like, because this is the comical part is when you're taking a shit in the morning and you're on Google Maps looking for funeral homes, and you're looking at reviews.
Oh my God, dude.
Listen, this isn't a Mexican restaurant that you're taking your family to. This is they're taking your loved one and they're either embalming them and showing them, or they're cremating them.
Right.
And here I am on Google reviews, and I'm like, this person, they got 1 star.
Right.
Well, let me read that 1 star. And folks, especially these fuckers that are first responders that are sitting in rigs right now in fucking cruises.
Right.
Pull up Google Maps. I'll wait. Pull up Google Maps right now and just put in funeral home in your jurisdiction and go find there's many. But find one and go to reviews. Do you want a fucking belly laugh? Read those 1-star reviews, because how hard is it
now,
to fuck
Google
up?
Maps, not regular Google. You want Maps.
No, Google Maps. Google Maps.
Yes, because there is a difference. I didn't realize that, but you want to do that.
Yeah,
I'm doing it right
Google
now
Maps.
as we speak.
Do it, because the 1-star ratings are comical at that. Because your whole job as a funeral home is to pick up the body, bring it back. And my experience was different. And again, this was my first time with a family member that was super close to me. So the funeral home, when we went there, we settled on, they bring you in this room, which looks like a divorce room, where your spouse sits across from you in this long table. And they go over all the packages, and then they say to you, you have to identify the body. And I thought that was only in the movies. Like, I've never, in police work, I've never told a victim's family or a family where they had a sudden death, that they had to go and identify the body. I guess they handled that behind the scenes that I didn't see. And so I'm like, identify the body? What? And she's like, yeah, so we have 2 options for you. 1, we can send you a picture, or 2, you can come down here and come identify him. And I was like, you're not taking a picture of my dead dad, and texting it to me. And I don't want that on my phone. I don't want that on your phone.
Right,
Like, she goes, oh, totally understand. You'll see him in person then. Again, man, like, no emotion coming down when they picked him up from the hospital. They bring him in. They put him in a viewing room. Super weird. They put like this grandma blanket on him, like, those grandma patch blankets.
Oh yeah,
with patterns,
like a quilt.
Not a quilt. No, not a quilt. It was a crocheted blanket. It was like my grandma made.
You didn't take a suit. You didn't take a suit to put on him.
No, because we cremated him. We wound up.
Oh well, that's true.
We wound up not doing a showing or anything like that.
Okay.
So
sorry, I was reading. I didn't pick up on all that.
No, you're fine, man. We wanted to, I wanted to make it as quick as possible, but as painless for the other family members.
Right.
But all of that to say that it is kind of, we may coin a new phrase here. It's first responder domestic violence, first responder leadership domestic violence. It is so much of your leadership that drones into you, suck it up. You spoke before about leaving a department, and that's that first responder leadership domestic violence, because you're in a DV relationship where you're like, it's going to get better. It's only like this. It's only like this because
I wasn't making the connection, but yes, now it's crystal clear what you're saying.
It's crazy because
you're in an abusive relationship with your department. Because you don't know better. Correct.
You're like, well, this chief only has another year left, and then everything's going to change in this department. They'll stop,
and it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, they'll stop beating me. They'll stop abusing me. They'll stop doing all of that. And then the year comes up and a new chief comes in, especially if it's an internal hire, you're
and he trained under the old guy. Yeah.
Oh, you're fucked. It's 10 times worse.
Yes.
It's 10 times worse because that person has so many bones to pick while they were coming up. And if it's an external person, this is a person, and that's what happened to me, was the chief that came in from CHP. He didn't give a fuck about anybody. He had no connection. He didn't give a shit that you helped an officer that was fighting cancer and she passed away. He didn't give a fuck about it. He didn't give a fuck that you got injured. And aside from me, many people that paid dividends at that department, he didn't give a fuck. Because he was like, everybody's equal. Everybody.
I hate you all equally.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck about any of you equally. Yeah.
You all
guy.
all washed my wife out of field training when she was in your department, and this is my payback.
Right.
All of you people that were involved, because that's what happened. His wife, before he even became the chief, like 5 years before, she went through the police academy. She was fucking god awful. She didn't make it through field training because she was going to get herself killed or someone else. And they let her go. And then 5 years later, this guy becomes the chief of police. And he's like, every person that was involved.
Got some payback.
Oh, and good old boy Nicky over here was one of those people that was involved in her field training.
Yeah, because you were in recruiting at that time, right?
No. I took her for a couple of days as an FTO because what they would do is, instead of cutting bait with you, they would pass the struggling recruit around like a peace pipe and say, Mark, let me get your opinion. Let them ride with you. And you say, listen, she or he is god awful. And then they go, okay, thank you, Mark, for your opinion. Nick, can you take so-and-so for a week for a second opinion? And you're like,
no, or a fifth.
I was on the same shift with Mark. Well, I want to get a different perspective. And then, of course, I call you up and I say, hey, Mark, you just had Joe Blow. What the fuck's going on with him? Before I take him out on a ride, do I even let him drive? And you give the skinny, right? And then you get in the car with this person. And I've had this before. There's many of them that are still working at that police department that should have never come off field training.
Right.
You ride with them, and then you go to the fucking recruiter, the sergeant of recruitment, and you go, Mark was right about this person. They go, oh, thanks, Nick. We're going to put them with one more person. And this is the person that parks at the dead-end block, doesn't answer any calls for service, but they're an FTO. They're a paper bitch.
They're really good at
paper fucking tall. They're a fucking paper bitch. Like, you know that if on the CAD system, on the board, somebody is reporting a bike stolen that they haven't seen in 6 years, but all of a sudden they went to their shed and this $8 Huffy bike is missing.
And that they bought at a garage sale.
At a garage sale that was missing 2 wheels and a chain. But now they want to report it stolen. Paper bitch is
that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll take that all day long.
Go ahead, 115. 115. You could send me that larceny call on South Carson. I'll Thank you, 115.
And they'll be on it for 3 hours. 3
fucking hours. You see them, you drive by, you see them at fucking Dunkin' Donuts, hour 1.
Yeah.
Then you run into them at fucking Olive Garden, leaving with their bags. And then your end of shift is 1800, right? And so typically
they're still there.
What happens? 1755, you'll hear this. 115. 115, Captain. 115, you could clear that call. No report. And then 3 minutes later, you're here. Dispatch to all units. All units, evenings, you're clear for 10:42. So they held on to that call for 3 fucking hours, and it
Yeah.
turns out they did no paper on it whatsoever. What they did was they held. You know what they did. Everybody that's
Oh, yeah.
listening to this, you have a Steve in your fucking department where
Yeah.
you know that they're the paper bitch, and I use
Yep.
paper loosely. Or Mark, and you and I are former sergeants. Or this person takes
Yeah.
3 hours on this call, and you finally get it in the box. You get it in the supervisor's box, and you pull it up, and you're like, "This guy's been on this for 3 hours. This is going to be like a William Shakespeare fucking novel." And it's 3 fucking sentences. It's
Yeah. With bad grammar and a lack of punctuation.
Oh, dude, it's like arrived at so and so. Victim states bicycle was there 1994. Decided to go into the shed to start biking now in 2025. Bike was no longer there. Canvassed the area for camera footage from 1994. None found.
Right.
Pending. And you're like, this could be a whole other episode. Paper bitch.
No. Oh, yeah.
I'm
yeah.
writing that down. Hold on.
Write that down.
Or
you have the active sergeant where they key up and they want that dispatch disregard. Send so and so to that call.
Oh, 115.
If you could meet up with me, I'll get with you. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not playing this shit again, dude. I finally had to do an interdiction with a guy like that, and I said, "Hey, bro, if you think driving around these neighborhoods at night looking for open garage doors is your job, you are sadly mistaken.
Yeah, we're gonna
either get busy, or I'll get you busy." And at the end of his career, and that's another subject. But yeah, he got every call. He got every call first. And the only time he didn't get a call is if he was already busy on a call. Yeah. And then I gave him about 15 minutes to wrap it up. Then the next call come in, and I say, "Oh, hold that for 3:28. He'll be getting that shortly." Hey, buddy, wrap it up because you got one holding.
I made multiple trips up to dispatch for certain people. I would say to them, absolutely not. 313 is not to get paper calls all night. I want them handling calls for service.
Yeah, domestic he will always be the primary.
Yeah, but those are the same ones that they go lights and siren. They go lights and siren to a scene. They stir shit up, and then the second person gets there, and they go, "Well, this is your beat, your primary," and you're like, "You've been here for fucking 8 minutes. You've already gotten statements from everybody."
My experience is that the paper guys, they are just absolutely non-confrontational. That guy, the pot stirrer, I always hated that person that would show up at the last minute and kick the fucking beehive or the hornet's nest. And it's like, whoa, we had one like that. They were all fucking mouth while they got 3 meat sacks like me and a couple other guys. But no, go ahead. You started this. You're going to finish it. Woo, yeah. Those people need to punch. Sadly, and I don't encourage violence on anyone, but if you're going to go in and run your shithole, and that hillbilly over there that ain't afraid of the police and that's been in the joint before, and he's like, "I just soon go to jail for a couple of weeks, get away from my old lady and kids. At least I get 3 meals a day." You know, the people don't care. Sometimes they go to jail, and that's a badge of honor. Yeah, I punch that fucking cop right in the mouth. That's the person that needs humbled a little bit.
But
sorry, I went on a tangent.
I mean, this whole episode we've gone back and forth, so it's good.
We started off with a serious topic and then rolled down.
Yeah. Sorry, Charlie. I mean, the good old days, you used to turn around, and this was before body cams and cell phones. You would say to a suspect or Kirk, and you would say, "You want to go? You want to go?" And you'd fucking sit there and duke it out with them. You would get a fat lip and a black eye, but at the end of it, you were in.
You learned to block.
The jail, there was respect. Yeah.
Right.
That was your defensive tactics back in the day.
Yeah, don't get hit in the face.
Don't get hit. Don't get hit in the 12 o'clock.
Right.
Model maker right here.
Which you could do that fighting one. When you start fighting 2 and 3, then you're going to take some hits to the head. So just be aware.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I say all of that because Charlie Kirk's message about free speech and talking about things that upset some people, and when you think that it's not working, when you look at Turn Point, the message wasn't like, I'm sure early on Charlie was like, this isn't going to work. Like, maybe this effort is not worth it. Maybe all these confrontations are not worth it, but it was worth it because it's part of engaging people. It's worth it because you may reach that one person. You may reach that one person that is lost. And
right.
I tend to forget that about this podcast. You and I have had several conversations, probably a year or two ago, about shutting down roll call.
Right.
Like we've openly talked about it on the show, which is, at what point do you, or do you ever? And then we get emails like the one that you and I got, but even more.
Yeah, that was great.
Something like what I'm about to tell everybody. I'm wearing my Blackhawks jersey, my Winter Classic Blackhawks jersey, number 98, Connor Bedard, go boy. I'm wearing it because I'm a big Connor Bedard fan. I think he's the future of the NHL. I think he's rough. He needs some mentoring and stuff like that. So my wonderful wife, she found this Winter Classic jersey for me, and I think fate happens to work in mysterious ways, and
sure does.
And so she orders this jersey, and she winds up befriending the company, the owner of the company, Robert, and she starts talking, and we start communicating, and start to realize that our worlds kind of bleed together. And I say, hey, listen, maybe what we could do on the roll call room, because we got a lot of fans that are sports fans, hockey, football, whatever, baseball, whatever. And I said, hey, listen, maybe we can get you some sponsorship on the roll call room, and kind of help your business out. And so that's how it sparks. But then he's doing some amazing things that in the future we're going to announce, where folks that go on to jerseysforsale.com and buy jerseys, you will be entered into different raffles and contests and things like that. And bless his heart, like he's doing some amazing things for this sponsorship with the roll call room, where our fans are going to be able to get some really, really cool shit. And I appreciate that. But it goes deeper than that, and I don't want to give away the entire story without violating some sort of trust, but this show has way more meaning to him and his wife, Kim, than I can ever imagine. Nicole and I got a letter from him, and it was inspiring. It was, him listening to one episode in the middle of the night, which is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like herpes, just. I don't think that works. That
shows up unexpectedly.
Yeah, I think heroin, right? Heroin.
Right. Yeah.
And
you get addicted.
Yeah, you do. Like it's kind of like all right, what are these assholes going to talk about next? Like, we talk about raw stuff, and the way that we're able to do that is we're not in the profession that we absolutely loved being in, because,
Right.
and you've heard me say this a million times, we're way more dangerous now than when we were.
Yeah, the best thing they should have done was kept us is found a way to keep us there instead of shoving us out the door, because out the door we are far more.
You made a tactical mistake. You made a
Yeah, we're
terrible mistake.
And the purpose of this show is to expose that. For those of you that don't know, Roll Call Room is the OG and calling out poor law enforcement leadership. And up till that point, it was just kind of like murmured in the back row, and then you're like, fuck this. And that's why all your people were listening, because they thought, well, he's talking about me. Well, he never named anything. Yeah. And if you're recognizing that behavior coming out of you, then maybe you should change. Maybe you should have that upward view reflection and be a better person. Would be in such a self-centered shitbag. But anyway,
Mike and I used to say it all the time is, the 6 episodes that we got off in season 1, we were shocked, first of all, that we made it to 6 before we got yanked in. I'll be honest, I was shocked. I remember tiptoeing into headquarters the first 2 and being like,
yeah. Here, it's coming.
And then by
Tom Petty said, the waiting's the hardest part.
Yeah. The 5th one, when I dropped the 5th one, and then people in the department, when I was walking through the hallways, were like, hey, good episode.
Hey, man.
Good episode. Then I started getting cocky, man. I remember listening to the old season 1 where I was like, I dare you to do something to me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I listen to that, Nick, and I go, God, you were so stupid. You were so all those drugs I was taking, all those antidepressants and medication to fucking level myself out, definitely did the opposite. It made me invincible and not realize that I was going down a dangerous road.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. In reflection into those days, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah.
And that's me reflecting on my behavior in those days. And, I wish this Mark the Cop could reach back in time, get in the DeLorean and show up in 2016. Cause that's when the change started. Yeah. In my profession, or not my profession, but at my department, is to show up, Grandpa Biff and say, hey, here's this book.
Yeah.
You need to read it. What is this police mental barricade? Yeah, you need to read this, and you need to pull your head out of your ass and start making better decisions.
And this would have been to me.
Yeah, exactly. Stop it now. There's a police mental barricade. There's, right here, Travis Yates's book, The Courageous Police Leader, Travis Howell's there, Create Your Own Light. These books are back here for Medlin's book. There's Turk's book. These books are back here for a reason, because, if you are working right now, pick them up. Email us, nick@rollcallroom.com. You still got some freebies laying around, right? Some ebooks.
Yeah.
We'll send them out to you. This show is for free. This is a resource to help you navigate this career, especially if you have toxicity in the upper office. Now, the beauty is, I think these fake it till they make it guys have made it, and they're going out the door. And I think they're going out the door pretty rapidly. I'm sorry?
I agree and disagree with you. That they're making their way out, but the problem is that they are now leaving law enforcement and they're going into positions of influence. They're going into they're going into the Policing Institute. They're going into the international organizations as experts or SME, subject matter experts.
Yeah, right.
And that's worse, Mark, because they are not with this administration. The previous administration, the Obama administration, these people were looked at as real experts in law enforcement and not doing any research that they were detrimental. Like Art Acevedo was on the 21st Century Policing Board with me. I was on the 21st
Yeah.
Century Policing Board. I
Right.
was there. We helped to write the community policing part of 21st Century
Yeah.
Policing.
You sat with him at a conference, right?
I sat next to him. We had a conversation about community policing. We disagreed completely on the ideology of community policing.
Right.
And this is no bullshit, folks. If you Google 21st century policing and you put my name in there, you will see that I was on the board for the 21st century policing report. I'm not proud of
Right.
that report. I don't agree with that report. A lot of my opinions did not make it in that report because I was a lonely master police officer at the time that I was selected to go to that board, and I was surrounded by
Right.
chiefs. But I digress. I agree with you. They are making their way out of there. But I think the other issue is we are still in wartime in the sense where policing is not Mayweather anymore. It is not
Right.
easy. We have
Right.
issues now with sanctuary cities not cooperating with ICE. This is going to be the next episode for you and I, because this will put us on an hour-long tangent that we just.
Well, I'm just going to jump in right here. I think the majority of the beat cops, you see an ICE officer out there in peril, they're going to jump in. I don't give a fuck what the management says. You can deal with me later. I'm going to help out my brother officer. I'd even do it today as a civilian. My thing, I'd be that motherfucker behind their line, eroding away their base of support. The beauty in final thought on the fake it to the make it guys, yeah, they may go on these boards or committees, but there is a finite time of them being there. Most of them's 2 to 3 years maximum, and then they got to go. They replace them out, which is good. The bad thing is they got 2 or 3 years in that position where they can just fuck shit up. But their influence, it isn't like they're going to be there for the next 20 years. And some people's like, well, I could just write it out. Why write it out unhappy? But the next thing is that, and I think everything ebbs and flows, and the pendulum swings back and forth, but the pendulum swinging back now is you're seeing a lot more of these people that are good-hearted folks that take care of their folks that are coming back. They from the bottom up watch that fuckery going on in the front office. They're like, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna take care of my people. And I think that may be the repeating story, sadly. Go ahead.
Yeah, I will tell you this: if you're one of those people that are rocking a car and you're a go-getter, you're good at what you do, you sitting there and watching your agency crumble and you're not doing anything about it by taking promotional processes, you are just as complicit as those bad leaders. Because I didn't take the sergeant's process for the money. I didn't make much making the jump. Matter of fact, I probably lost money because I got promoted out of a police officer 2 instead of waiting until I was a master police officer and then get promoted. So I did it, and then I took the lieutenant's process because I was infiltrating the poor leadership. And if you don't think like that, it's time for you to get out and go somewhere else. Because if you think that you are going to make influences without being in a gold position, sergeant and above, you're sadly mistaken. And what you need to do is you need to be a sleeper cell. You need to infiltrate them. You need to quietly put your agenda in there until you get to the level where you are the decision maker. And it's happened. It's possible. Know how to take a promotional process. Know that is not based on how great you are out on the street. It has nothing to do with how great your reports are.
Exactly.
Nothing to do with your
call load. Proactivity doesn't mean shit.
And it's outlined in one of my books. I think it's how to promote or something like that. I can't remember what shit, but it's in there. Like, all how to prepare for interviews, how to prepare for promotion, all that stuff. Because when I was coming up, there was no book for you to read on how to take a sergeant's process. Went into it blindly. And I was very disappointed that it had nothing to do with merit. It had nothing to do with any of that shit. It had to do with here's a scenario. Here's all the check boxes that you need to have for you to get a perfect
Right.
score. And that's that could be a whole other that could be a whole other episode.
Yeah, be a review episode. I think we covered that previously. Maybe not here. Maybe it's Shield Within show, but this sounds very, very familiar with they talk about know your enemy, know your process. Because when I first took my promotional process, I was blind, and my agency was like, "This is a big secret. We can't tell you anything." Well, that's horseshit. ChatGPT is wonderful. If you have a good version of ChatGPT, just put it in there. What do I need to know about the assessment center? What do I need to, what are the highlights of this book so I can pass the test? Because I can tell you, I studied that fucking 3-inch book they gave us to study, because I'm like, I'm going to pass the fucking thing this time. Still got like a 70. I'm like, Jesus, because the questions were nothing remotely close to the end of chapter review. And then with our process, 10% was the interview to ward off the good old boy syndrome, which happens. But if you work at a sheriff's department or somewhere where you have an elected official, good luck to you, because there it's so political.
Incestuous. It's incestuous.
Yeah, and it's that way across the nation, because local sheriff's department's like, is it like that? Yeah, everywhere. I don't care where you are, because I train people from all across the nation. Every sheriff's department's the same way, sadly. And then what really gripes me is that some agencies will have a process and then circumvent it. And to those agencies, it's like, why have a process? Why are you wasting your time having a process just to tell the guy you don't like no? Is that the purpose of it? And that way you can do it and not fear a lawsuit? Why don't you just tell him up front, look, man, Nick's my guy. Everyone taking this, this next process, I want Nick. And put it in there to where they can make that decision. At least that Nick's your dude. And you may not agree with it, but, give the guy a fair shake. He may not be the asshole you think he is. I've seen that positive side where, oh God, this guy'd be horrible if he got promoted. And he got promoted and actually did a great job.
Yep. I've seen really bad street cops get promoted to sergeant and be really good at being sergeants.
Yeah, sergeant's the best fucking job.
It's rare, but they're more administratively driven. They're better at leading teams than being an individual contributor.
Here, Nick, I want to make a public proclamation. I'm not going to say his name, though. The current chief of my former agency is a fantastic task manager. This guy gets shit done, and he's really good at it. He's just really bad at dealing with people. So what would you rather have?
Yeah, I'd rather have, I'll be honest, I'd rather have the people person, because
I think everybody would.
You're, from a mental health standpoint, I think if my chief was good at being good, like being a good people person.
Yeah, being a good human.
Yeah. I mean, I just wrote down, we got 3 new show ideas, man. Not like we sure. But I do want to add about jerseys for sale. Jerseysforsale.com. We're still in the stages of working out like promo codes and things like that. I think it's amazing what they're doing. I think it's cool to have a partnership with them. We like jerseys. I know I do. I have a fucking shit ton of them in my closet. And Robert over there, he's just a really, really good guy. They're just slowly putting things up over on the site. So if you don't see what you want, reach out to them. And that's how I'm going to wrap this up, buddy.
Wrap us up.
Way over. So
it's a good conversation this morning.
Yeah, and we're back up on Spotify. I loaded 5 episodes on Spotify last week or the week before. And now Spotify does video, which is weird. So while you're on Spotify listening to it, you actually watch the video.
Oh, wow. Did you throw the video up over there too?
It does it automatically. It was really weird.
Oh, wow. Okay.
and those of you that are listening to us on Spotify now, the reason being is they were one of the ones that were censoring us and didn't like the content, and
well, I think your former agency put an ear in somebody's ear over there, and that's why they were.
I think
we've been shadow banned so much. We're still shadow banned on Facebook. Fuck Facebook. I was glad to hear where Google tried to redeem themselves a little bit with YouTube.
Yeah,
the people that they banned, and like, oh, whoa, we're sorry, we were pressured. Whatever.
Yeah, bullshit.
But guys, take care of one another. Like I said, Nick and I shared our personal story today about loss, and if you don't feel bad at the funerals or in them positions, you just have to start embracing that's who you are. Don't start hating yourself because of your lack of empathy. It's what the job's done. And I can tell you, mine's coming back. My genie's been let out of the bottle. The problem is, and again, I'm going to get a little vulnerable, is I go from moments of I'll just start sobbing for no apparent reason, and then I'll be just as angry on the other side of it. So my poor wife has to deal with that. Talk about your bipolarism. But that's what it's like coming out of it. But if you're not as reactive as others in the room, it's all, I believe, a direct result of career choice. And we're going to talk about it on the Shield Within. With Dr. David, get his input. I think this is something that's worthy of going to. So don't feel bad. Don't start self-loathing. Stay on your path of healing. Faith, family, friends, favorite activities. Get back out and be human. If you're on the job, keep those non-police, fire, EMS friends in your life that keep you grounded. So take care of yourselves.
Yeah, same. You can reach out to Marc at MARC at rollcallroom.com, or you can reach out at Nick at rollcallroom.com. I agree with Marc 100%. For every one law enforcement friend that you have off duty, you should have two that are non-law enforcement. Trust me, it will pay dividends when you're ready to leave, or if something happens in your agency that forces you to leave. Those are your anchors. Check out jerseysforsale.com. Help our folks Rob and Ken out with that. Again, thank you everyone for listening.
One last thing. If you're feeling a little shaggy down there, manscaped.com.
Promo code.
Roll call room. 20% off.
All right, folks. See you on the next one.
From the court to the field, we've got what you need. Every team, every color, every fan guaranteed. High quality threads, fashion meets the game. Jerseys for sale, remember the name. Jerseysforsale.com, where the players shine. Men's sports jerseys, the best you'll find. Passion for the game, stitched in every seam. Wear the style, wear the pride, wear your team. Jerseysforsale.com, where the players shine. Men's sports jerseys, the best you'll find. Passion for the game, stitched in every seam. Wear the style, wear the pride, wear your team. Trends of today, tradition on display. From legends of the past to the stars of today. When you want the look, when you want it first. Jerseys for sale, quench your fashion thirst. Jerseysforsale.com, where the players shine. Men's sports jerseys, the best you'll find. Passion for the game, stitched in every seam. Wear the style, wear the pride, wear your team. Jerseysforsale.com, where the players shine. Men's sports jerseys, the best you'll find. Passion for the game, stitched in every seam. Wear the style, wear the pride, wear your team. On the court, in the stands, or out with your crew, we've got the jersey that's perfect for you. Not just a shirt, it's the way you belong. Jerseys for sale, quench your fans are strong. On the court, in the stands, or out with your crew, we got the jersey that's perfect for you. Not just a shirt, it's the way you belong. Jerseys for sale, where the fans are strong. the game lives.